Well, it's time now for Flashback, a recap of stories that made headlines during the week. And we begin on Monday, where in Ekiti State, it was barely 6 days after his election, the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Gboyega Aribishogun, was impeached from office and suspended indefinitely alongside 6 other lawmakers. Among other allegations, they were accused of sabotaging the 2022 Supplementary Appropriation Bill.
The former Speaker of the House, Fumini Afuye, the 6th Assembly in Ekiti State has been enmeshed in controversy.
As soon as the Speaker died, we knew there could be problem. So for the aversion of possible problems, the party needed to invite House of Assembly members. We spoke to them. First and foremost, we said they should allow the position to remain in South Senatorial District, where the former Speaker came from.
Aribishogun was elected by a majority of the House 6 days ago, but his emergence did not sit well with the kingmakers in the state. Today, he was impeached by 17 members and immediately replaced by the Chief Whip, Olubunmi Adelugba, from Imure constituency, who is the most senior member from the zone of the late Speaker, thus fulfilling the wish of party leaders.
A lot of things that came up. The first one is, the last time that we sat, they revised the supplementary appropriation budget bill was supposed to be passed. The bill was stopped, it was not passed, it was sabotaged. The second one is that election that you are talking about was actually compromised.
The Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the House says 6 members, including the impeached Speaker, have been suspended indefinitely for unpatriotic and unparliamentary conduct, but will be open to accepting them back if they decide to play ball.
This started about 6 months ago. The people suspended. They are like cancers in the house, and we have to remove them. They wanted the deceased deputy speaker, the deceased speaker, and myself will have been impeached 6 months ago, if not for the fact that the leadership of the party intervened.
Aribishogun and the 6 erring lawmakers were also barred from the vicinity of the House of Assembly complex within the radius of 145 days for their act, and the impeached Speaker says his removal was illegal and there are plots to assassinate him.
And on that same day, reacting to his impeachment, the embattled former Speaker, Gboyega Aribishogun, accused the former governor of Ekiti State, Kayode Fayemi, of being behind his, quote, illegal impeachment. And he revealed that the former governor had called some of the lawmakers who were loyal to him to intimidate and harass them. The former Speaker insisted the process that brought him to power on November the 15th was transparent and democratic.
What has happened on the floor of the House on 15th of November was a clear case of democratic process, which was beamed live and everything was done, openly, without any issues. And members were not. For them now to come and be quasi members, to go and institute an illegal impeachment, I think Ekiti State needs to be rescued from him. As I speak now, I'm about going to the IG to seek protection for all our members they have been harassing since night. Former Governor Fayemi has been calling all our members, who are my supporters, and they have been harassed and been intimidated. Some of them have been picked up as I speak, and they are saying they are taking them to the House of Assembly. Whatever happens, Fayemi should be held responsible.
And on Tuesday, President Buhari inaugurated the drilling of crude oil in commercial quantity at the Kolmani field area, the border town between Bauchi and Gombe State. Well, at the flag-off ceremony, the president declared that his administration has attracted more than $3 billion investment in oil and gas sector.
The first in northern Nigeria, the Kolmani oil prospecting lease 809 and 810. This is a new beginning for a region that is considered poor and economically disadvantaged. President Buhari is particularly excited about the discovery of 1 billion barrels of oil reserves and 500 billion cubic feet of gas within the Kolmani area. He says the ambitious oil and gas project has attracted an investment of more than $3 billion at a time when there is reduced interest in fossil energy.
The successful discovery of the Kolmani oil and gas field by NNPC and her partners has finally broken the jinx record by confirmation of a huge commercial deposit of hydrocarbons in Kolmani River Field.
For NNPC Limited, their duty goes beyond just the euphoria of discovering hydrocarbon in commercial quantity. They have been charged to ensure an optimal utilization of natural resources, grow Nigeria's oil reserve to 40 billion barrels in 2025, and ensure continuous energy sufficiency. But in Kolmani, Nigeria's oil company has an integrated development plan that will avoid the mistakes of the past, especially the unpleasant situation caused by crude oil exploration in the Niger Delta.
The singular determination of Mr. President to ensure optimum exploration and exploitation of our natural resources, and Your Excellency's consequential directive for NNPC Limited to re-strategize and utilize available human, technological, and other material resources to prosecute exploration activities in all frontier basins resulted in the discovery of the commercial oil and gas deposit in the Kolmani prospect in April 2019.
Our country is replete with rich hydrocarbon resources, which the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari and Minister of Petroleum Resources is committed to finding and developing to end energy poverty, create shared prosperity, and enthrone sustainable development.
The presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, was also invited to the official drilling of oil at the Kolmani field.
And on Wednesday, President Muhammadu Buhari unveiled the newly redesigned naira notes. The denominations launched by the president were the 1,000, 500 and 200 naira notes. The ceremony held at the council chambers of the State House of Abuja just before the weekly meeting of the Federal Executive Council. The president, in his remark, emphasized the importance of the redesigned naira notes, and he said it will help the country address the issue of illicit financial flows, corruption, the economy, and the value of the Nigerian currency. This is the first time in almost 20 years that Nigeria will redesign its naira notes.
I announced to you that these redesigned currencies are locally produced right here in Nigeria by our Security Printing and Minting PLC. The new naira banknotes have been fortified with security features that made it difficult to counterfeit. These new banknotes will help the central bank design and implement better monetary policy objectives. They will also enrich our collective memory of Nigeria's heritage.
The benefits of the currency redesign to Nigerian economy are enormous, given that A, this policy will help to control inflation, as the exercise will bring the hoarded currency back into the banking system, thereby making monetary policy more effective. B, it will also help with better design and implementation of monetary policy, as we would have much more accurate data on money supply and our monetary aggregates. Third, we believe that this exercise will help in increasing financial inclusion, moving towards a more cashless economy, and ensuring greater formalization of the Nigerian economy.
Well, on the same day, the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, announced that the federal government has recovered more than $1 billion from the corrupt individuals between 2015 and 2022. The minister revealed this while briefing State House correspondents after the meeting of the Executive Council of the Federation, chaired by President Buhari at the State House in Abuja.
President Muhammadu Buhari's administration is seeking better ways to strengthen its fight against corruption, especially misappropriation in government-owned institutions. The Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation says ongoing efforts at blocking leakages have yielded positive results. But the Attorney General also presented to the Federal Executive Council a new anti-corruption strategy document from 2022 to 2026 that will enhance the legal framework in the government's fight against corruption.
Today, the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation presented a council memo seeking approval of the council for the validation, adoption, and the extension of the National Anti-Corruption Strategy document from 2022 to 2026. I am happy to report that the memo was taken.
Abubakar Malami says the federal government is closely monitoring the budget defense sessions at the National Assembly and is concerned about the unraveling allegations of padded budget in the cost estimates presented by ministries, departments, and agencies.
There was no point in time at which the government overlooked the need for doing something, but it all depends on what has to be done and at what time. But be rest assured, it is a great source of concern.
The Ministry of Works and Housing continues to lead the execution of President Muhammadu Buhari's infrastructure development across the country. The Minister Babatunde Fashola says the Federal Executive Council approved the augmentation of the Kano Western Bypass to link the Kano-Maiduguri Highway.
The Ministry of Works and Housing presented one council memo and one council note. The council memo was to get approval of council for the augmentation of the contract price for the completion of the Kano Western Bypass.
As President Muhammadu Buhari's administration begins to wind down, the federal government is making efforts to ensure the promises made are kept and citizens get the dividends of democracy.
And on Thursday, a federal high court sitting in Port Harcourt, River State capital, disqualified the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress in River State, Tonya Cole, over dual citizenship and non-compliance to Electoral Act by his party. The People's Democratic Party in River State had approached the court to direct INEC not to recognize Tonya Cole as the APC candidate for alleged dual citizenship and that the delegates' election that brought him didn't follow due process. Justice Emmanuel Obile, in his judgment, agreed with the People's Democratic Party that Tonya Cole, who has a dual citizenship, isn't eligible to contest governorship position, and that the APC primary that brought in Patrick Tonya Cole wasn't monitored by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Justice Obile, in the judgment against APC, held that the court has jurisdiction to hear the matter and thereby directed INEC to delist the name of Patrick Tonya Cole from the electoral list of 2023 general elections. The parties in the suit had these to say on the judgment.
Section 28 of the Constitution defines and provides for dual citizenship in our country, in our Constitution. So Tonya Cole, even though born in Port Harcourt, had applied and has since become a citizen of the United Kingdom as well. But that Section 182 sub 1A clearly makes a provision that's subject to that Section 28. So if Section 28 says you can be a dual citizen, then you cannot come under 182 to disqualify a candidate.
And earlier that day, we told you that Delta State Governor and Vice Presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Ifeanyi Okowa, said the party is working assiduously to reconcile with the 5 aggrieved governors known as the G5. Governor Okowa spoke after meeting South-South Governors Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom State, Governor of Edo Godwin Obaseki, and their Bayelsa counterpart Doye Dire. According to Governor Okowa, quote, "The G5 are part of the family and we are not going to allow them to go. So obviously everything is being put in place to reconcile all differences and move together as a family," end quote. The Delta governor assured that the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar and the 5 aggrieved governors will meet soon. And to Friday, where in Niger State, where Nigeria's Minister of State for Petroleum, Timipre Silva, said the country will need to spend about $410 billion above its current spending and $10 billion annually to deliver its energy transition plan by the year 2060. The minister was speaking at the 7th National Council on Hydrocarbons in Minna, Niger State capital.
The federal government of Nigeria in August 2022 launched Nigeria's energy transition plan as the country's pathway to achieving net zero emissions goal by 2060 and achieving a just and equitable climate future for Africa. And also develop professionals and directors in the federal and state ministries responsible for energy matters are gathered here for the 7th National Council of Hydrocarbons. They're here to discuss the future of the energy industry and provide a framework for energy transition in Nigeria. The Minister of State for Petroleum, Timipre Silva, is represented at the meeting by the Permanent Secretary of the Petroleum Ministry. He discloses that as a major oil-producing country on the continent of Africa, Nigeria has taken the lead as one of the first 50 countries to launch the guidelines designed to manage greenhouse emissions. These will be gazetted in the first quarter of 2023.
Roadmap and strategic policy options towards achieving energy transition in Nigeria is not only timely, but also very apt. It is clear that Nigeria must address its energy constraints and will require policy flexibility to deliver this. Nigeria will need to spend a whopping sum in excess of 400 billion above business as usual spending to deliver this transition plan by 2060. And that equates to an average of about 10 billion per year.
The Niger State Governor is represented at the event by the Secretary to the State Government. He asserts that the state hosts a huge deposit of hydrocarbons, which gives it a right of place in the discussions about Nigeria's transition to clean energy.
In addition, we call on the Federal Minister of Petroleum Resources to consider establishing a platform, gas terminals and pumping stations within Niger State for the Ajaokuta, Kaduna, Kano gas pipeline project presently passing through Niger State territory. The platform, when established, will serve the Federal Capital Territory, the people of Niger State, with the Garam Industrial Park and Baro Port, among other communities, which has the potential to boost the economic activities along the corridors of Kogi, Niger, and Kaduna states.
The transition to clean energy is part of global efforts to mitigate against the effects of greenhouse gases, leading to climate change.
And it was a Black Friday for the Nigerian entertainment industry as it lost yet another prominent singer to the cold hands of death. As a sad report of the death of gospel artist Sammie Okposo filled the airwaves, President Muhammadu Buhari also joined other Nigerians to mourn the passing of the Wellu Wellu crooner. In a statement signed by his special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, the president commiserated with the Christian community and sympathized with family, friends, and professional associates of the renowned gospel singer. The president, who expressed shock at the death of one of Nigeria's most decorated gospel musicians, condoled with his colleagues in the gospel music industry and the younger generation. Sammie Okposo was 51 years old when he passed on, and his family later issued a statement about his death, saying the burial arrangement will be announced at a later date.